Hello and welcome. Firstly, allow me to congratulate you on your recent purchase of the brand new MG ZS EV SE model. In this video, I will talk you through some of the main exterior and interior features of your brand new car. Hopefully trying to address some questions you may have, but also having this video to refer in the future if you have any questions or forget how to use some of the features of the car. Starting from the front, we can see the stunning LED headlamps, which give the car quite an aggressive, modern look. It has a very nice stance on the road. You will not miss the front grille because there's none, being an electric vehicle. And you will see here we have the front mounted camera, because this car comes with both 2D, 3D and 360 camera, which we'll see in just a bit how to operate. And next to the badge on the left hand side, we have our charging port. Simply press on the right hand side inwards and it opens. And then let me come closer. Here's where you're going to plug your charger at home. Simply press this button to the right hand side and it just opens. You can plug your charger, and when you're done, simply unplug it, push this inwards and this inwards, and you are done. Moving on to the side of the car, we have these lovely 17-inch alloy wheels, and also both passenger and main driver's door come with keyless entry, so you can simply press the button and the car locks or unlocks on its own without the need of a key. Moving on to the back, in order to open the rear boot, you put your fingers on top of the MG logo or badge and press inwards and then push it upwards. And here we go, plenty of space for your day-to-day activities, big or small luggage. There is additional space to the right and left hand side, and if you pull this upwards, there's a bit more space, but also this is where you're going to find your charging port along with the inflation kit. You can also decline the rear seats in order to extend or expand your rear boot space if you need to carry larger items. To do so, come to the rear seats, open them, and at the back of the seats there is this little lever here. Press it upwards and push the seat downwards. Same applies to the left hand side of the seats, and essentially it just increases massively the space you have for your boot to carry items. To close the boot, simply put your fingers here and then just push it downwards. Excellent. Let's now move in the car. Again, as I've mentioned, the car comes with keyless entry, so I can lock. As you can see, I've just locked the car. Press once more and unlock the car, indicated by the windows opening or closing. Starting on from the driver's door, we have our central locking, so click this button and all doors are now locked. Click this one and they're all unlocked. Below that, we have the front electric windows and the rear electric windows, and some space for cup holders. Moving on to your seat, in order to adjust the seat and move the whole thing upwards, press this lever upwards, and vice versa if you want it to go downwards. To move this section here, there is the lever here. Push it upwards. If you want the seat to go lower, push this upwards and use the weight of your body to push it down. Or if you want it to move forward, press it upwards and it will automatically come on its own towards you, and just use your back to find the perfect driving position for you. Now, if you want to move the whole seat to the front or to the back, there's a lever down here. Here we go. Press this upwards and then use your body to push it towards you or away from you. Now, to open the bonnet, below the steering wheel on the right hand side, there is this lever here. Just press it towards you and the bonnet opens. Now, moving on to adjust your mirrors to the perfect position for you. Behind the steering wheel on the right hand side, we have these buttons here. You will start on 0 position. To adjust your right hand side mirror, press it or switch it to the right, and then you can go upwards, to the left, downwards and to the right. When you're done, scroll this to the left and perform the same activities, so up, left, down and right. And when you're fully done, put it back into 0. Whenever you park and you want to fold both your mirrors, have it in 0 and then press it downwards, and your mirrors will come down, and if you press upwards, they will come up. Now, moving on to the steering wheel, let me actually just show you quickly how to start the car. Simply press the brake pedal, and behind the wheel on the left hand side we have our start engine. Just press that and the car comes to life, as you can see. Now on the steering wheel we have the main functionalities on the right hand side. Here you can use all of these buttons to navigate through your main screen. We have our voice commands and our asterisks. The car allows you to apply any function that you find helpful on that asterisk, and as soon as you press that, it does exactly the function you want it to do. On the left hand side we have our radio button, so you can increase or decrease the volume, skip to the next track or go to the previous one, mute everything. You can answer calls with this little button here, which has the phone logo, and then SRC allows you to toggle between DAB radio, FM and AM. Now, to adjust the overall steering wheel position, if you move to the back behind the steering wheel at the bottom, you'll find this lever here. Press it downwards and then you can take the steering wheel upwards, downwards until you find the perfect position for you. And to secure it, just get the lever and push it upwards, and it's now secured. On our screen here you can see the power you're using and also the miles per hour you're actually driving at this point in time. You will see here the remaining battery. Currently we're at 98%. Our CARES system, the level that we're using, which we're going to talk in just a moment, and then the driving mode you're in. Currently we're in normal, and the remaining range. In order to, if it rains and you need to use your wipers, behind the steering wheel on the right hand side we have the lever. Press it upwards to go once. The more intense the rain, press it upwards and upwards, so the rain's wipers are more intense, and then downwards when you want it to stop. While you're driving, if you want to indicate that you're going to turn to the right, there is a lever on the left hand side of the steering wheel. Press it upwards to indicate you're going to the right, press it downwards to indicate that you're going to the left. For your cruise control, behind the steering wheel on the right hand side there is this lever here. While you're driving, you can set by pressing this button here the selected speed you want to be cruising along, and to increase the speed, push it upwards. Decrease the speed, push it downwards. Moving on into the middle section of the car, we have some cup holder space here, some more additional space over here, and then this is with the P logo. This is our electronic handbrake. So up to secure the car, essentially to move the handbrake up, down to push it down. Here we have this A logo. This is your auto hill hold control. So while you're on a hill, the car will just stay there, assuming that you have the handbrake on. So you can just press the gas pedal and it will go straight on. So the car won't roll backwards, essentially. To select gears, this is our gearbox here in this fancy little way. Always press the brake, and then we're currently in neutral. In order to put it into drive, you scroll this wheel slightly to the right hand side, and then to put it back in N is slightly to the left, and to reverse slightly to the left hand side. In order to put it back in parking, simply press this button inside. When you press the button, the parking button, the electronic handbrake automatically comes up. Now, moving on to these three buttons here, we have our mode, which allow me just to bring you here. We're currently in normal. I can go into eco mode by pressing the mode button lower, and then I can go into sports mode by pressing the mode button once. So we have eco, normal and sports mode, and as you will see from the miles there, Depending on the mode you're driving, the car assumes that you're going to have less miles the sportier you drive. Now, moving on to KERS, which stands for Kinetic Energy Recovery System. KERS is essentially, you can see it down there, we're using the maximum amount. So as you may know, electric cars, due to not having a petrol or a diesel engine, they do not automatically slow down on the road. So Kinetic Energy Recovery System essentially creates that engine braking that a normal car would have, and you can select the intensity of the feel, essentially, of the braking. And then last one, battery. If you click that, we're immediately going into our screen to see all of the battery information we need to have. Now, moving onwards, we have a 12-volt socket there. We have two USB ports, one normal USB and one USB-C port. And moving on to this lovely touchscreen infotainment system. On the top right hand side, this is our home screen. On the top left hand side, excuse me, we have our battery information. To go in, simply press in it, and this is where we see everything about the car. We can see the remaining level of the battery and also the remaining range. I'm currently in sport, hence why it's at 240. So now I'm in eco, so 265, as you can see. Also down here, when you charge the car, you can select, if you're in a hurry and you are, say, at 10%, you can select the percentage you would like the car or the battery to charge to, so say 50%, and then it just stops automatically. One thing that is very important to notice here is that on this car, when you're charging it, in order to stop the charging, you do not just unplug the car. You need to come inside the car, start the car overall, come into this screen, and then select stop charging. This will then stop the charging and will allow you to unplug the charger. If you do not do this, you will not be able to unplug the car. Moving on, in this screen we have our Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which to access you will need to be connected with USB. In the middle we have our radio, so if I click here, as you can see, we have our radio station, and you can select between DAB, FM and AM. Also, always, regardless of the screen you're at, in order to go a step backwards or to the home screen, you can either press the home button here, or within our shortcuts down here, select the home button and we go back. Then we have our satellite navigation system, which looks very much like Google Maps if you ever use that. Now you can, to go or find a new route, simply go on the top right hand side corner onto the search button and apply the postcode or the address you want to go, and the car will simply find that address quite quickly. Apologies, I'm just going to put the postcode we're currently at here at Lascombe's. There we go, and then start the journey. As simple as that.
To the highlighted road.
We can also stop the destination by clicking on the top left hand side corner. Just stop the journey. Moving on, as you will see down here, we have our air conditioning quick buttons, so you can increase intensity or decrease it, and then our the temperature of the car. But also we can slide this main screen to the left hand side, where we have more settings where you can access your air conditioning, as we've done before. Going back, we have our vehicle information. This is essentially where you can apply the asterisks I mentioned earlier to perform any functionality you would like to have. You have information about the MG Pilot, so you can enable or disable your lane assistance and other, as you will see here, other security or safety measures the car has within MG Pilot. Now you'll see this button here says 360. This always applies when you put the car in reverse. So you will see I have a few screens here, and down to the right hand side we have a number of screens we can see, or views, so you can simply just touch what you want to see and the camera changes automatically. This is currently the 2D view. If you want to use the 3D view, there is a little button here, press the 3D, and we're now in 3D view. And again, you can select the camera angle you want to see, which helps you essentially just park even at the tightest spots. Moving on, we have our settings down here, where essentially you can change. Allow me just a second to go back to general. You can select the brightness. You can make this dark screen being light, so with the white I prefer the dark one. And on the left hand side there is a number of settings, so simply you can just scroll up or down to find the setting you want. You will see Bluetooth here, so you can just select and start pairing your phone to Bluetooth. You can play with all the sounds on the car. And last but not least, we have our bind vehicle. This being the MG ZS EV, it comes with the mobile application, the MG iSmart application, so you can essentially pair your car to your phone and perform some remote activities with the car. And this is where you can access essentially the bind my vehicle for your MG iSmart application. This pretty much now concludes the overall screen of the car. On the right hand side, on the passenger, we have our glove box, and then we have our electric windows for the front, and this is pretty much overall the car, the main functionalities of the vehicle. I hope you have found this video useful and informative. If you did, please let us know, and if you have any questions, do not hesitate to give us a call here at Lascoms, as we're always happy to help and address any issues you may have with the car. Thank you ever so much.